How you doing, guys? Welcome to a 2021 skill point guide here for Black Desert Online. In today's guide, we'll be testing 3 popular spots for both beginners and endgame players when it comes to grinding skill points, and I'll be running you guys through the pros and cons, in my opinion, for each of these spots. Now, you guys might be familiar with Duo DeSil's video on skill points that was released mid-2020. I did enjoy this video, however, I wasn't convinced that the Soldier's Grave was better than the Kagtums when it comes to skill points, so I wanted to test this out and see if it was right. Another thing I wanted to test was the skill point advantage that the Polyforest has over all the other grind spots and whether there was any changes made to that in 2021. So what exactly will I be using to test each spot, you might ask? I've got a 294 AP level 62 Sork here with me with 2,200 skill points. When it comes to pets, I'll be running my 5 tier 4 pets, one having the 4% increase on skill points. I've also decided it would be a good idea to use a few skill point buffs because, let's be honest, everybody's grinding with them on these days. The buffs I were using was nothing too crazy. I've got a 530% scroll, which you can obtain from here in the loyalties if you haven't already. I've also got the daily 30% mercenary scroll, as you can see here, getting from the Y tab. A 30% buff from the blessed message scrolls, and finally the 50% extra skill point XP scrolls. So to tally it all up, we've got 774% skill point buffs being used for all of these rotations. Before I jump into the results, I wanted to show you guys what rotations I was using for each individual grind spot. Now, some of you might already know these rotations, so that's good, but for those of you who don't, I recommend using these spots because they are the most dense in my opinion, and it's just easy to grind them in a circular rotation. So if you find a better rotation, let me know in the comments and maybe we can test that in the future. The first spot I'll be grinding today is the Soldier's Grave. Now, the Soldier's Grave is located east of Heidel. Unfortunately, my combat video was corrupted for this, so I had to re-record a combat video here. So if the top left and the screenshot don't add up, that is why. Now, the reason I'm grinding this Soldier's Grave first is because I wanted to give myself the best chance to proving that the Kagtums are in fact better. This is because as you get higher with skill points, it gradually gets harder. So that'll be why. Now, starting off, we had 51.43 skill points and ended with 80.43, giving us a total of 29 skill points for the 1 hour we grinded here at Soldier's Grave. The hour was quite slow for me personally because I don't enjoy the Soldier's Grave, but all that aside, it was a quiet grind and I was sitting on the Arsha the entire time, which was a bonus. Now, Soldier's Grave is of course in the top 3 for skill points. The spot is usually always free and there's very low AP needed. However, there are some cons to it. There's only one decent rotation, very low silver per hour, the mob density is shocking, and also gravestones and little obstacles get in your way, so it can make your grind quite annoying. So just bear that in mind when you're choosing the spot to grind. Next up, we have Polyforest. Now, unfortunately, again, I had the same experience with my recordings, so we're going to have to deal with these screenshots and use them. Now, Polyforest being number 1 in the game, I was expecting very high results, so here we are starting off with 80.56 and we finished up with 119.03, as you can see in the screenshots here, which was really nice results, total of 38.47 skill points in 1 hour alone. Again, I was on Arsha. Surprisingly, there wasn't too many people coming in at my spot harassing me, so it was a really good grind. Now, to break it down further, this spot of course ranks in the top 3 for skill points. It's got very low AP required to grind here, multiple rotations available, great mob density, and 100% Black Spirit Rage uptime, which helps you increase that grind speed. A couple of the cons, of course, is that it's overpopulated at times on most servers, and also low silver per hour if you're a higher AP player, although it is better than the Soldier's Grave, so no complaining there. Now, the final spot we'll be testing today is the Kagtums, one of the most underrated spots I find when it comes to talking about skill points. A lot of players shrug it off for Polyforest, saying, nah, Polys is way better, but I'm here to change your view on that, hopefully, and show you guys a better side to Kagtums when it comes to skill point grinding. So as you can see here, I started with 124.2 skill points and ended up with 154.28, leaving us with 30.08 for the entire hour. Now this is with a high amount of skill points already, so bear that in mind. Now there are many reasons why I'd recommend you guys grind this spot, however we'll stick to the main couple, and that would have to be high silver per hour, the infinite potion piece, and 100% black through rage uptime. All of these will be really beneficial to you. Of course there are cons to it, higher AP required and very overpopulated at times. Now to wrap it all up, I've placed everything in a little table for you guys here. With no surprise to anybody, Polly's come out at number 1 again with 38.47 for the entire hour. Kagtums in second place, thankfully, with 30.08, and Skeletons in third with 29.03. Of course, I'm not surprised Kagtums beat Skeletons. I was a firm believer that they were better the entire time. However, it must depend on the class that you use and your grind speed capabilities. So bear that in mind, guys, when you're taking this data into consideration. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave it a like and a comment. Let me know what you want to see next, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.